Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Switching Stances. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler, joined by my good friend, my good buddy, Ollie, aka Gaz. How's it going, mate?
It's going okay. I'm a little bit tired, but on the plus side, celebrating a British champion, a British victory.
Yeah.
So can't complain.
Yes, you are under the weather. That's why the podcast is a little delayed in the week, but that's okay because we're in high spirits here with a Leon Edwards victory, which brought us all a lot of joy. I feel like it. I was in the joy mainly because I picked Leon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I just felt very, very vindicated in that pick. It wasn't a third round TKO.
No,
but it was.
It was a. Good,
I thought it was a pretty clear, solid
win.
victory. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will get into that. Couple things to get through. Did we have anything in the news as well? First and foremost, from you, in the last week or so, from the world of MMA.
I've really only got one thing, and it sort of tails on from the welterweight title fight.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
Should we save that? Yeah, we'll save that because I mean, there's a lot to talk about with who's the rightful number one contender, the Colby Covington situation. Like, there's
That's what it is. Yeah.
A lot to go through there. I tweeted out the other day. I just said fight announcement coming soon. And I do have a fight date. I don't have an opponent yet. That will be happening in the next couple of weeks, but I have an event. I have a date. I'm not going to say it here. I will say it's in June. That's all I'll say for now. And then once I lock down the opponent, and I know the weight, I'm pretty certain of the weight, but can be some negotiations.
Yeah, sure.
And then once that's locked down, then I'll properly announce the date. And we're not in fight camp yet, still got a good bit of time, but sort of prepping for fight camp, if that makes sense. So,
are you able to say what type of sport it is?
Well, it'll be Muay Thai. It'll be a Muay Thai fight
cool.
first.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, before I do any MMA fights, I want to get a couple of Muay Thai fights in. So does my coach. So does my team. So, that's the goal for right now. Striking's my main martial art discipline anyway. Though I do love my wrestling, I love jiu-jitsu, but I definitely am the most competent on the feet. So very confident. I had 3 teammates I cornered a couple of weeks ago, and just having my teammates that I'm very close with and I train with every day to see how well they did and them get wins. Like, man, that boosted my own confidence too. Because saw a couple of them mollywop their opponents and their boys that, I go toe-to-toe with each and every day and we all make each other better. And I'm like, I saw what they did and I'm like, I'm going to do exactly that too. So I'm feeling very confident, very ready, very excited. It's been a long road here. I thought I would have fought a long time ago before we started this show even. But I'm glad it's taken this long because I'm now truly, truly ready. When I think the idea in the past has been like, I'm excited, but I'm also like, fuck, this is crazy. Whereas now I'm like, I have zero fear or hesitation. This is what I want. And I know I'm going to go in there and do well, no matter the outcome. So I'm just fucking pumped, mate. I'm just absolutely pumped.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it for you. I want to see, I want to like hear the process,
Yeah. Well, I'll keep everyone updated on this show and this channel and across all our social channels along the journey. I might do a few vlogs here and there and a few videos, and I've already had people close to me volunteer to be like, oh, film this, I'll do this for you. So that'll be helpful. Like, I was when I got sort of the tap on the shoulder, I was like, this is the date, and telling a few people. And good friend of, one of my best friends on this planet Earth, David Jerome, who, if you followed me, you probably know who that is. He goes, what do you need me to do? What do you need? You just want me to video stuff? You want me to do that? I was like, yeah, I mean, if you want to. He's like, I'll just be a fly on the wall and just do this. I was like, sweet, great content. So, You know, I'm
can write your
excited for the
walkout song.
process. The Muay Thai events like that, man, they're just so quick. Hey, there's not really much of a walkout. It's just sort of like in, out, in, out, in, out. The fights are fast, but those sorts of events, they have lots of fights on them, which is great because they draw friends and family of them. So these events, they're packed with people, which is great. Right. So the atmosphere is really good. The energy is really good in those events. So I'm excited to be able to compete in that atmosphere. And, you know, my coach said to me, he's like, mate, you were like a kid in a candy store, being like in the corner for the boys. Like, he's, you know, I was just buzzing, and he knew, he's like, this is what he wants. He's ready. You know, outside of just my training, also mentally, he was able to see that I was ready too. So I'm just pumped, and, you know, super proud of the team, and I just love the team I'm in, and it makes training fun. It makes it easy, and I'm just keen to get amongst it. So it'll be a couple of months, and I'll keep everyone updated. But yeah, I thought I'd just mention that for now, and I'll keep everyone updated as things progress and we get further and further and further through camp and locking in opponents and weight and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and then how you can watch it, because there will be a stream.
Good stuff. I sort of assumed there wouldn't be, but
you know, there was a stream last time, but you had to pay for it, so it's a bit of a fucking shit show. I still expect you to fucking do it, but I'll get, you know.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Whereas if the average Joe, I'm like, I'm sure I'll try to get it down the road, get the footage, and then we can put it up on this channel, perhaps. You know, if I can like pay for, I don't know what it would take to be able to get that, but yeah, I know they do it on their channel upload after the event, so I could just direct people to that after the fact if they didn't want to pay. But I think it's like $20 Australian, so probably like 10 quid or something like that. This is like, I'm just going by last. I might be different next. I don't know. But that's that'll be cool. So people that can't make it can watch it if they so desire, which will be sick. And might even get you to live tweet it, Gaz. So those who aren't paying for it can know what's going on. But anyway,
what I'd love to do is get a bunch of our friends together.
Oh, dude, that would be cool.
Like get like Ben, Toby, Ollie. Yeah,
and to film a reaction to it. Oh, that'd be tough. Wouldn't that be fucking tough? I won't, so it's fine. But
well, that's okay. If you won't see it if you lose, so
I'd still want to watch it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't care. Maybe I just won't watch the end part. No, it's fine.
Maybe.
Because I will. Yeah, it's fine anyway. I'm gonna win. I've literally no doubt in my mind, so it's all good.
That's good.
It's all good. I'm gonna work. I've already put everything into this, and I will literally give this everything I've got leading up to it. So I've been doing this a long time. It's been a long time coming for me. I feel overcooked. Like, I feel like I'm gonna walk in there against a guy that's been doing this for 5 minutes, trying to do his first fight, and I'm going to mollywop him. That's how I feel, like, you know, and that's the mental side of it. So I'm going in very confident. So very focused, very serious, but, you know, very confident as well. But yeah. Enough about that. Let's get into this past weekend, UFC 286 from London, England, the O2, highest gate in the history of the O2. So shout out to the UFC and to Leon Rocky Edwards, the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world. It was his show, it was his moment. It was just cool to see. He looked calm, cool, collected all week, all through the fight. So he blew me away. Again, we'll get into that. But before that, let's go through the highlights of the card. What are some highlights for you that you want to talk about?
I'd like to immediately go off on Jake Hadley versus Malcolm Gordon, which I'm not sure if you watched.
Is that the 30-second knockout where like he was like fighting, and then he was like fighting the ref for like a solid minute after?
No, it's not that one.
Is that a different one?
No, it's a flyweight guy. 2 flyweights. Malcolm Gordon was who Muhammad Makayev fought last.
Okay.
He came back, and DC, whilst Malcolm Gordon's walking out, DC is saying, so Malcolm Gordon was telling us that he was pissing out parts of his liver in the build-up to this fight. He was like pissing out chunks of his liver. Clearly something terribly wrong with him, and decided to fight anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't sound healthy. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Doesn't sound healthy.
But it doesn't sound healthy. You know?
Doesn't sound healthy, and it was
No.
a first-round knockout for Jake Hadley.
Right.
And all
Did
he
kick
really
him right
did,
in the liver immediately?
all he really did was 2 short left hooks straight in the liver, and Gordon just collapsed, just crumpled to the floor.
So he obviously found out that.
He
was telling them. He was talking about it, right? Like DC knew.
Exactly.
So
If
every
DC was
the
telling
guy's like, so I'm gonna punch him right in the fucking liver, and we'll have an early day. You know.
Yeah.
I'm on the prelims. The sun's not even down. Let's go smash some
100%.
fucking pints of bevs. Like,
yeah.
Easy day.
He made it look fucking easy. I mean, he didn't mention the injury in the thing. He was just like, yeah, I get a lot of guys with that shot in the gym. But yeah, 100% you.
Yeah.
You don't dedicate to body
I would
shots
100%.
like
If I was him, I would say the same fucking thing. I'm not just being like,
Yeah.
well, I heard him say he was injured, so I just thought, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, well, you know, I'm the fucking man, so that's why I won. That's what I would be saying, but, you know, we're not all me. We're not all pieces of shit. Yes, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. There was also a knee that got shattered.
There was the next fight, yeah.
Yes, yep.
Which is the O2 Classic. Last time it was Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's become a thing at the O2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk us through it.
Well, there wasn't much else to say really. Christian Leroy Duncan was pretty hyped coming in.
Yeah.
And he retained, I guess, the hype. Looked good early. Looked pretty slow early, but like it looked like he was just feeding out stuff.
Yeah.
And Todorovic just crumpled his knee. I don't know exactly what happened, but it looked like he twisted it somehow and fell to the ground.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was. What are some other highlights you've got?
Did you watch Lerone Murphy versus Gabriel Santos?
No, I did not. I didn't watch any of the
that
prelims, other than some like things online, because the card was at a different time, and I was
100%.
like in the middle of shit. Like, so I just went dark on social media and saved the card for when it would normally air at US times in Australia, which is Sunday at midday. And then Jared came around. We both watched it midday. And by the way, our reaction videos to the main event is already up on the channel and smashing views. So shout out to that. So, but go check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, so I only really had time for the main card. And you did tell me to watch some prelims, and I did check out like some of the highlights, like the knee bar and then the rear naked.
Yeah.
All that good stuff, but I didn't see anything else really. Other than I did hear about the pissing liver thing, but I don't know how.
Okay.
I don't know how I heard about that. Maybe I heard you talking about it. I don't know.
Maybe I did tweet.
I'm sure it was just. It's almost certainly that then. I probably read one of your tweets.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Lerone Murphy was meant to fight Nathaniel Wood, which would have been a great fight. Nathaniel Wood went out with an injury, and they brought in Gabriel Santos, who I think he was an LFA guy. I'm not sure. Let me check that actually.
Yeah.
But he came in and did very, very well for himself.
Yeah.
It looked like Lerone Murphy's legit, also undefeated. Where was he? Yeah, LFA. Lerone Murphy, very good. Gabriel Santos showed to be equally good, I would say. It was a win for Lerone Murphy, which I thought it was as well, but a lot of people scored it for Santos.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to have him now in the UFC and like come in, despite being on a short notice loss, like can't complain about the kid. Looked very good.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Did look good.
Muhammad Makayev obviously briefly mentioned that knee bar, which
yes.
That shit's
crazy.
What do you think?
Dude, that shit's fucking stupid.
Because he's a year older than me. He's 22.
For me, that's super fucking weird. I hate that shit. I hate knee injuries, ankle. Like, I hate leg locks. I fucking hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It scares the shit out of me. more than anything in MMA. Like, knockouts don't, fucking chokes don't, arm bars, all that shit, but, like, things that'll fuck up your knees and your legs and your ability to walk and your future ability to walk long-term scares the shit out of me.
Sure.
So I'm like, bro, fucking tap and live to fight another. This is, no fight's worth, that
this was
potential
also
future.
Yeah.
That's all I feel about it.
He's undefeated, which makes me think that comes in to play quite heavily.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ego. Yeah, well, it's why I'm not going to be a UFC fighter, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
It's just, it's a reality. Yeah. It's a reality. These people are built different, and that's what he wants. This is his life. This is his livelihood. So I get it from that point of view. But for me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, fuck this.
Yeah, it's hard for, like, I understand me sitting at home and saying, "Oh, should have tapped to that, mate. Bad decision."
Yeah.
Is easy because I'm not an undefeated 10-0 upcoming guy who wants to be the youngest UFC champ, who wants to go on to do great things, and a loss sets you back a bit.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I am aware of why he didn't tap. And also he got submission, despite as soon as he lets go of the knee bar and starts moving, he is wincing with every movement.
Oh yeah.
He gets that submission and he stands up and is like hobbling around. It's rough.
Yeah.
But
the fact that not only he backed himself to know that he's injured himself, he's fucked himself, and still go for the victory and win within a minute afterwards, or just over a minute after that, is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, it was so impressive. But also, at what cost? What cost?
Exactly, because he's not going to be back this year.
No fucking way is he back this year. No way is he back this year.
And that's the sort of stuff that fucks people's careers. You see people take knee injuries and they don't come back from it.
Yes.
And it's scary as someone so young and so promising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends how bad it is, right? Like, do we know, like, the damage? Have we got the results? Like, is it ACL, MCL? Is it both?
Yet.
Like, I think you sort of need to know that level and how bad it can be. But once you get, the problem is with knee injuries is that they tend to happen again. And I know a lot of athletes, a lot of doctors will be like, once you've done it once, it's stronger than ever. It should be better. But, like, then why does it keep fucking happening?
He did say he heard 6 or 7 cracks during the attempt.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's tough.
Stupid.
If you wanted to move on to that Sam Patterson knockout where I think he got a kick caught and he got an overhand by that little Israeli guy, Yanar Lashmuz.
Yeah.
And
was that
takes
the
left
one
hook on the way down? Gets sort of the drums played on his head for a bit. Struggles to get back up. A lot of people saying late stoppage. I actually would side with the ref on that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's a hard one to call because he was taking the strikes, but he was moving, he was getting, like, trying to work out of positions, had his arms up to sort of prevent strikes. He was doing things to defend himself. Yeah. Whilst he was still taking shots. I understand in the moment where I think it was Mark Goddard was coming from. But obviously Patterson gets up and is still trying to clinch grapple his entire corner and the ref.
Yeah. That was, dude, that's the sort of shit that you don't like to see.
No, 100%. It reminds me, there was that video, and I don't know if you've seen it, of a boxer, like an amateur boxer, who is he's fighting his opponent and sort of stops fighting his opponent and, like, turns to sort of look at the ref, starts swinging towards the ref. The ref steps out of the way and he just keeps swinging into the ropes, and sort of just crumples into the ropes. It looks like sort of if your controller has a bit of like stick, what's it called? Where like stick drift, I guess.
Yeah.
He just sort of drifts over into the corner while swinging, and he died later that day.
Yeah. Fuck.
Just clearly something went wrong getting hit, and it looked like that to me. It reminded me like terrifyingly of that. I was like, oh, this could be could be one of the this could be like the one that we see a guy die, because it will be. I will almost guarantee, like, I bet it will be a ground and pound stop, because someone will die eventually.
Yeah.
Inevitably, and I think it will probably be a ground and pound stoppage of just taking volume rather than taking one big punch.
You reckon?
I get the feeling. Yeah, I get the feeling someone's going to be out. The ref doesn't realise. They just take too much. And it was a real sad one to see.
Yeah. You don't like to see it. You don't like to.
Ashmu's looked great, and like, not to take away from his performance, because he did look great. Just deeply uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. I didn't see it like it live, but I didn't enjoy watching the video after the fact. And him like just continuously you that shit scares the shit out of me. Not as bad as knee bars though, for some reason.
No. I was gonna get into Jack Shaw, Makwan Mirkani.
What the fuck is that? You just made up some names.
What? You don't know Jack Shaw?
Oh, is he the darts guy? I know him. He's the guy that cheated
the darts
at darts.
guy.
He's the guy that cheated at
darts.
darts.
He beat him. That's okay. Yeah. Welsh GSP as he's been dubbed.
Yes. Okay. No, I didn't see any prelims.
He fought Makwan Mirkani, who is the funniest fighter of all time. Maybe second only to Dricus du Plessis. But where Dricus du Plessis can gas immediately and continue on at the same pace, Makwan Mirkani is a monster in round one. The second the bell for the second round starts, he gasses like clockwork. You could set a watch by it.
Really?
It's so funny. You should watch that fight, or any of his fights. Comes out, looks really good, and then he wins the first round against Jack Shaw. Jack Shaw goes back to his corner, and you love to see it. His dad sits him down immediately and is like, "We spent 6 months drilling a head kick, and you haven't thrown one," which is great, and you love to see that. You're like, what a way to get your fighter to to actually fucking. He's like, we've been working on this. This is like a thing that we know he's weak to.
Yeah.
Like, the head kick is there.
Yeah.
Why are you not throwing it?
Yes.
Second round opens.
Fair question.
Second round opens. Jack Shaw throws a couple head kicks, clips Makwan with one of them, and Makwan like very quickly starts looking sluggish and like overthrowing his punches. Very clear, and I just hear DC go, "Oh man, he's gassed," and I laugh so hard whilst watching that live. He's so it's just incredible to watch him struggle on through second rounds. I don't know how he's managed to have such consistently bad cardio. Since most people I know have been watching him, at least, and never do anything about it. It's really great. Jack Shaw submits him in the second round. Just against like pretty dominant round against the tired guy.
Well, he's a minus 500 favourite, so
well, that's because people expected him to be able to.
He's supposed to win
get through the first round.
Yeah. Well, do you see a Jack Shaw fighting a ranked opponent next? Where's he at?
He'll probably get one more unranked guy. He'll probably get like an unranked name. At 145, someone like I don't know what's like an Andre Feely. Is Andre Feely a featherweight?
Yeah, he is a featherweight.
Yeah, someone like an Andre Feely, I could see him getting.
Yeah.
And then they probably give him a ranked guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not like sold on Jack Shaw the same way that other people are, but I'm interested to see him go.
Yeah, well, it's not someone I've seen fight. And
Okay.
still have not seen this fight. Didn't watch it. Didn't watch prelims.
I'm surprised you didn't see the Ricky Simone fight.
Nope, didn't see it.
That's interesting. Okay.
Don't know.
Can't believe you'd miss ranked bantamweight. Casual.
Well, we have shit on sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, it's not really okay.
Well, no, I mean, you don't. That's okay.
That's all right, man. I'm only in my final semester at uni.
You're a uni student. What do you have on?
Yeah.
What do you have on outside of uni?
You're not
You're not going to go out and do something. You don't have money to do
work.
something. You're a uni student. What money do you have to do
That's true.
stuff?
I don't have money to do stuff.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. I remember. I was a uni student once. I know what it's like. What else are you doing but studying? Nothing. So, you've got time. Your free time is this. Consume
My free time
content.
is a lot of MMA stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I know. Because that's what when I was at uni, all I did was watch fights too. And that was like peak of I'd watch every prelim. And to be fair, like for big cards like this, I do like to watch prelims. This was just a card I didn't get the chance because I sort of like was avoiding spoilers and only had so much time. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I need to check. I want to check Twitter. I want to check Instagram. But I need to know what happened to the main events first. And then by the time the main card was over, and to be fair to us, we didn't skip through it either. We watched that main card start to finish, ads, breaks, everything included. We didn't skip from one fight to the next. We were like, we want to treat this like it's live. And we did that. I love the flow of the UFC event. Because I love a fight day, bro. I like the in-between. I like the gaps in between a fight. We get a chance to have a chat. You talk about the fights. You're still pumping stuff up. You have a conversation. Oh, the next fight's on. Banger after banger.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And this card flowed really well. A full night for the red corner. All wins for red corner.
That's true.
Yeah, it was. It was. In fact, I think only two blue corners won the whole card. Two blue corners, and one was early prelims, one was prelims, and all red corner for the main card. Marvin Vettori defeats Roman Dolidze. I know how to pronounce his name now.
Hey.
Close fight. Closer than I thought it would be. Roman definitely showed that he can be a top 10 middleweight, not a elite middleweight.
What a bar.
Yeah, it's not a great bar, but definitely like can beat plenty of guys in that. He could probably beat a Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
sort of the level, but he can't beat a Marvin Vettori. The crowd booed the decision. I had it for Marvin. I had it from. Was it close? Yeah. Like if they'd given it to Roman, I would have been like, oh, I didn't think so, but yeah, I guess so. I guess you could. It wasn't one-sided enough one way, and it's not a high stakes one enough that I care if it had gone the other way. But I did think Marvin edged 2, if not all 3 rounds. But it was close.
I thought Marvin pretty clearly lost the first round.
Yeah.
And pretty clearly won the third round. And the second round could have gone either way, but I think was pretty clearly Marvin.
Yeah.
Like I had it 29-28 Marvin.
I had it 29-28 as well. But I wasn't sure. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure going into the decision. Marvin still looks like he's not able to pull the trigger.
Yeah, like, it was just a tepid kickboxing match after.
But Roman was looking for those big shots, and that's when Marvin was landing, just sort of like in those exchanges and with his counters. And he's got a fucking chin on him. Like the bigger shots were thrown by Roman, and he was really looking for the finish, whereas Marvin was just looking to point him, which he did successfully. Survive with his thick fucking orc head, and and sort of get through it to a decision. I'd like to see more like fight to fight. I haven't seen a huge amount of improvement between now and the Whittaker fight. Like, it's tough because Whittaker destroyed him, but
Yeah.
I thought he looked so good in that Costa fight, and I just wanted to see that same like sort of level and passion. But it felt like this is just a fight he got signed for, and he's like, they don't pay me enough to go hard. I'm just gonna fucking cruise this one and win. Whereas like the Costa one, it was a main event. The Rob one, it's fucking Rob. You know, those are those sorts of fights that you could tell he was there for. And there was some emotion in that Costa one. But I don't know. I just didn't see a lot from Marvin. I was a bit disappointed in... Though he won, I thought he won. I was a bit disappointed in his performance.
Yeah, I thought it would be a lot more exciting because Dolidze is the kind of guy who will... No, I thought Marvin would cleanly win on the feet and then Dolidze would find something interesting on the ground. He's great at threatening things, like threatening submissions and using them to... transition or to get the submission. He's very good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't really try it at all, which is a bit disappointing. Just wanted to have a kickboxing match, and it wasn't that. I wasn't huge on it, to be honest. It was like fine.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was an okay opener. It was an okay opener, not the best opener.
Vettori, though, did come out and say afterwards that he believes Robert Whittaker to be the superior fighter.
Between him and Izzy, I saw that.
To Israel Adesanya. Which shows maybe he's had some sense knocked into him. You know.
Well, I think Rob knocked the most sense into Marvin Vettori. Because every time he's finished an Izzy fight, he's like, "No, I won that." Whereas Rob's like, I'm your father. Like that's the difference.
Well,
and you know,
yeah, right. After the Rob fight, Vettori got on the mic and was like, "I'm sorry to all my supporters."
Yeah, well, it's because he got the shit kicked out of him by a man from the land down under, and that's what happens when you fight guys from this part of the world. You know.
Yeah.
But not girls, apparently, because Casey O'Neill did not deliver in her next fight against Jennifer Maia. That was disappointing. Because
bad,
Jennifer...
I would say.
I was more surprised at how good Jennifer Maia looked. She looked
I guess.
She looked like... When I say this, professional as in... She looked like she'd worked fucking hard on a specific game plan. And Casey O'Neill had no way of adjusting. She went in there to fight one way and it wasn't working. And she just kept trying the same thing over and over and over. Every round, 3 rounds, Casey O'Neill just kept coming forward with Jennifer Maia going side to side, not staying still, you know, cutting angles, landing shots, the wrestling, and takedowns and grappling, I would have thought Jennifer Maia would have gone for, but she stuck to a stand-up game plan, and she pieced Casey up on the feet. Casey landed a few good shots and had moments and stuff. I don't think she looked bad, but she looked like someone that, the elite of the elite, you adjust to a game plan. And then when you watch the top tier, you know, you see momentum shift here and there. That's what makes the great fights. And then when you talk about the highest level of MMA we've probably ever seen, Islam and Volk, those guys were adjusting to things multiple times around, let alone throughout a 5-round fight. Like, I've never seen a fight so back and forth where 1 minute one person's winning, the next minute the other person's winning. Like, that's what you call adjusting. Whereas it showed me that Casey O'Neill is one-dimensional and her fight IQ is not there, or as a mixed martial artist doesn't have the skill set to be able to adjust. That's what I read. So I was a bit disappointed. And the future for Casey O'Neill looks not great to me. Yeah. Because at this level, you should be able to do more than one thing. And you should be able to adjust at least to more than one thing. Right? Because if you went with that game plan against Valentina Shevchenko or Alexa Grasso, they're going to piece you up. And if you can't adjust in any way, they're going to finish you. You're not going 5 rounds with them. You're not 100%. Winning a belt. That's, you know, that was my biggest takeaway from that fight is I love Jennifer Maia's game plan. It looked great. She looked like she worked her ass off on it to win that fight. And Casey O'Neill had no answers. And didn't, didn't look...
afterwards?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, afterwards, Maia basically accused her of greasing.
Oh, okay. I did
She said
hear
she
a bit
was-
of this, which is a bit
she
fucking
was-
weird.
Like slimy, and it wasn't sweat.
Okay.
Which like feels like a weird accusation to make after a win and b not grappling. It does. Like
That was
Casey
weird.
O'Neill, if Casey
And
O'Neill
then also
was
she
expecting-
backtracked because
if
Casey O'Neill
was expecting
posted
to
the
grapple,
DMs. Casey O'Neill posted the DMs where Jennifer goes, "I do that too." I'm like, what are we talking about? Yeah. Casey O'Neill posted the DMs like of her sending a message like, "Why are you accusing me of this shit? I didn't fucking do anything." Oh, it must be just moisturizer. I put it on too. And it's like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Why even mention it? Fucking weird, bro. So weird.
That is super weird. I almost thought like that has more validity because you didn't lose, so you're clearly not like fucking salty, and B, you didn't really grapple much, but I assume you would have been expected to grapple. You know, Jennifer Meyer is someone you would have expected to have a grappling fight with, and so if O'Neill was to come out greased, she'd have an advantage there.
Yeah.
And it didn't play a factor, so it feels like a weird thing to make up.
Yeah. Like, she tried a couple of times but couldn't get it down, but maybe it was just Casey O'Neill had practiced takedown defense, which is probably what she thought Jennifer Meyer was going to do. Probably what she was doing in a training camp was for wrestling defense.
Yeah, probably.
But, you know, as a fighter, you've got to be able to adjust on the fly to things you don't expect. You've got to have, mate, you've got to have tools in the duffel bag.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
100%.
And she didn't do that, and Jennifer Meyer proved herself, you know, to be a top-tier flyweight in the women's division, which isn't saying a lot, but it's saying something. I'm definitely saying something. Gunnar Nelson, Brian Barberena.
I felt vindicated in this one.
It's what I mean. It's what you hoped for, right?
Yeah.
I was very happy because I love Gunnar Nelson. He's a fucking OG. Yeah, I mean, you were right. You called it. You said you saw Brian Barberena get taken down in his last fight. You felt like Gunnar Nelson could do it. And as soon as he got that takedown, I was like, well, he's getting it. And even when he got on top, I turned to Jared and I was like, he's going for an armbar from Mount. Because Jared goes, oh, there's not enough time. 15 seconds. And it was like, he's got time for an armbar.
Yeah. You see him like trying to strip the grips.
And bang. Right on there.
Yeah.
Easy night in the office for Gunnar Nelson. For a guy that, I don't know why, loves to coach. I don't think he does it, he gets the payday, loves the sport, but ultimately he's a guy that could have been a lot, but he literally hates being around people, hates being in front of people, hates the performance, like that side of it where he's got to be in front of a camera. Like, I bet you anything he'd much prefer to fight in front of fucking nobody. Just because he loves the sport. He's a very quiet, keeps to himself sort of bloke. So we don't see Gunnar a lot as I might have liked. And
no,
I remember back in the day thinking he was a big up and coming welterweight, and he's just sort of always been in the low top 10, top 15, and hasn't moved because he barely fights and he wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. But it's just like, he's there. He's a great martial artist. He's an amazing martial artist.
He's fought a lot of the guys that are around now, like Gilbert Burns. He fought Leon Edwards.
Yep.
A few of them, but he's just sort of let himself slide out of activity.
Yeah.
And just occasionally comes on and like wins a dominant grappling decision.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want to see from him.
Gets a submission.
Yeah. Well, it's what you want to see from Gunnar Nelson, and I was very stoked for him.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely stoked for him. So, it's what you want to see. Happy for Gunny. I don't know what you do next because I don't reckon he's going to fight anytime soon.
No, he's not someone I even care to matchmake. He's very much the kind of guy where I'm like, okay, gonna Nelson fight. That's cool.
Yeah. Who do you give Brian Barberena next? Because he's coming off 2 losses. Maybe give him a striker and let him just put on a great fucking fight like he does and like he did with Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown and stuff. Like, let's just put on a fun fight for him.
Well, Barberena wasn't originally the guy. It was going to be Daniel Rodriguez versus Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Brian Barberena returned back to the role of being an old man killer despite not being that old.
Yeah. Well, just a guy that's just going to put on a barn burner, win or lose, and let him get his extra 50K. You know what I mean? Because you put him against a striker, like, he can put on a great fucking fight, man.
But he doesn't go out easy. He's weirdly in the role of a guy that gets old man fights. Like, he's had that Matt Brown fight, he had that Robbie Lawler fight, Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah.
He's weirdly fit into that role despite not being one of them. The UFC just seems quite happy to keep him, like, keeping the old legends busy. So someone like that would be great. I don't know who else you've really got in welterweight that can fulfill that role.
Yeah.
One of them. I'm not fussed to. I'll watch a Brian Barberena fight.
Yeah, it wasn't a fight of much consequence. It was a fight for our just entertainment. Get us through, get a finish after 2 decisions, and get us to the people's main event, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev.
Woo!
This was as advertised. It was a great fight. Great technical striking match. And, mate, it was back and forth because after that first round, I'm like, Fiziev's fucking got this. He's got this in the fucking bag. Okay. And even after that's how I felt after the first round. I just was like, he was fast, he was better, he was getting to the punch. I was like, this is gonna be it all day. And then second round, I was like, okay, that was closer. I wonder how it's gonna go in the third. And then early in the third, Fiziev's landing big shots, and then that jab from Justin Gaethje started coming through, and I was like, okay, he doesn't know how to miss with this jab. No. And then he started landing jab, uppercut, and I'm like, well, he's taking the whole fight. He's completely turned this fight on its head, totally in his control. And by the end of it, like, I felt like you need to give Justin Gaethje that decision, because I thought in my head, I'm like, second round to me was a bit more of a coin flip. I wouldn't have been surprised 100%. if Fiziev had gotten that, but third round and the end of the fight was so dominant, you felt like, I'm like, man, I really hope Justin gets it, because he's the one that turned that fight around and took that fight from Fiziev. Yeah. You know?
Makes you 100% wish for 5 rounds of that. I'd have loved to have seen how fourth and fifth looked.
I mean, I think Gaethje might have finished him if it had gone.
I think so too, but it would have been great to see if Fiziev could pull that back.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I totally agree. But I was impressed with Fiziev.
We've seen him in 5 rounds against Rafael dos Anjos, but he was winning that fight. Whereas I'd like to see if he loses a thrashing like that, because that last round was a thrashing. It was a 10-9, but it was like, you can't argue round 3 for Fiziev at all.
No, you can't. Like, he had a good first minute, and then it was 4 minutes of dominance from Gaethje.
So I'd like to see how he comes out and adjusts with some corner advice in round 4, round 5.
Yeah, but how much was he still there after that third? Because
exactly. I'd love to know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
But I mean, I doubted Gaethje. I thought that Gaethje would be. I thought the body shots would cripple him quite early. I thought it would look a bit like the Alvarez fight in terms of just being worked to the body and then getting finished up top. I thought that maybe his chin was going to start declining after that Oliveira fight as well. Mm-hmm. No, he looked so much better than he did in the Oliveira fight. He looked great.
Yeah, he did. He looked really good.
He
looked really good.
Even in round 1.
He looked like the Gaethje against Chandler.
Yeah. Yeah, even in round 1, he looked so much more considered than he did against Oliveira. He looked like he came out against Oliveira just swinging wild like a madman. But he came out here and, worked the low kick really nicely rather than just swinging it for no reason. Set it up with footwork. He came out. He was doing some really nice punch and clutch stuff. Grabbing that lead collar tie, uppercuts with the right hand. And then on the break, he'd throw that overhand over the top and catch Fiziev as he looks to circle out. Like, just really nice stuff from Gaethje.
Yeah, well, when he doesn't get caught up in the emotions of the fight, and he just focuses on the skill, because he's way more skillful than he gets credit for. He puts on some of his best performances, and he says he wants a rematch with Oliveira because he fought like an idiot, and maybe that's true, but I don't know if that goes any different either.
I mean, it might.
It might.
It might, but I don't want to see it right now.
Yeah.
There's only one fight you make. There's only one fight you make.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I know what it is, and it's funny because like so many people in the lower levels of the top 15 in lightweight go, all those guys do is fight each other. Well, I want to see it again. I want Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje to its time. It's been, 5 years since the first fight? It should be a 5-round main event again as well. But it probably will be a pay-per-view 3-round like featured bout.
Nah, fuck that. Put it in 5 rounds on a pay-per-view. That is a 5-round pay-per-view.
I mean, you got two former interim champions of that division who have beaten everyone else in that division bar the champions. And, their first fight was a great, close, competitive fight that Dustin Poirier got the finish with. I think Dustin Poirier will win again. I don't think that goes any differently. But, but I want to see it still. I still want to
I'd love to... I mean, I will say as well, I am definitely the sort of person that's like the upper echelons of lightweight just fight in a circle and don't fight contenders. Guys like Arman Tsuyukian are fighting down the ranks when they really should be getting their big breaks at this point.
Yeah.
But
right.
in this case, you have to move Justin Gaethje up the ranks. I don't want to see him fight the loser of Oliveira Dariush right now. That's not a fight I'm interested in. I'm interested in giving Justin Gaethje fights, especially because he's pretty heavily implied that
this is his last run.
If he loses, that's it.
Yeah, I think you put him against Poirier again.
Yeah.
And
because even if he loses that, what a way to send him off.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, bro, 100%. I want that fight. I want to see that fight. It's the fight to make.
I'd like to talk about the scoring of that fight very quickly.
Yes,
because
it was a bit odd, wasn't it?
You had one judge give it rounds 2 and 3 to Gaethje, round 1 to Fiziev, which I think is the correct score.
Yes.
Then you had one judge give
agree with that
round 1 to Gaethje, round 2 to Fiziev, round 3 to Gaethje. So same, still 29-28, but they somehow found a way to give round 1 to Gaethje, and
oh my god,
gave round 2 to Fiziev, which is fair to do. But if you correct that, that's a score for Fiziev. If you take away that weird thing that you've done there, and then you had someone give it 28-28 with the first 2 rounds to Fiziev and round 3 10-8 to Gaethje.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which I don't think you can do either.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could have seen it being a split decision where you give the first 2 rounds to Fiziev, and it would be like, it's
100%.
hard to argue.
100%.
Yeah, that was a really close fight. The only reason I leaned Gaethje maybe was purely from the mentality of, well, Gaethje won the end of the fight. You know what I mean?
I think
especially
Gaethje won
with
it.
Gaethje beat the shit out of him by the end of it.
I'm not arguing that Gaethje lost.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the scorecards were terrible for that. Only one guy got it right.
Yeah.
And you can I have a broad definition of got it right there, because I think you can give the second round to either guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. It was weird, and the way Buffer read it out was weird. It was fucking. It was weird all over.
Buffer sort of killed the tension there.
Yeah, but the right guy won, so it's what it is. Is what it is. Then we get to the main.
Sorry. I'd like to see, just very quickly, I'd like to see him fight Matej Gamrot.
Okay. Both coming off a loss.
That's good. Yeah. No.
Gamrot won that.
Turner,
yeah. Sorry. In my head, I was like, I forgot who won the decision, because in my head, Turner won that fight. But
100% he won that fight.
Is what it is. Gamrot won. Fiziev, that's a good fight. Let's get that fight going. I wonder how Turner would go against Fiziev, though, to be fair. Also not a bad fight.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that, but that feels like quite a low low fight for Fiziev.
Agreed. Yeah, Gamrot, Fiziev's a good one.
Main event.
Would you do Hooker Fiziev?
You could do Hooker Fiziev. I think that's a hard fight for Hooker, to be honest. I think that's a nasty fight for Hooker.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I reckon if it was like a main event, 5 rounds, I'd pick Hooker.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
If it was a fight night, main event, I'd go Hooker. If it's 3 rounds, I'd go Fiziev.
I struggled to see Hooker beating much elite competition now. Sadly,
I disagree. I think styles make fights.
Well, you would.
Yeah. I mean, I would. It's true. I would disagree. Yeah. Because Dan Hooker's my boy, and I fucking love him.
I love him too, but
you don't love him like I love him.
I don't love him like you do.
No. Okay, main event. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman 3 for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship. I mean, we both picked Leon, and Leon won. We both picked Leon, and Leon won. I thought it was going to be... I mean, what I said in the prediction was 3rd round TKO, but what I thought was confidence is key, and Leon's going to come out and win the rounds, and look good. And early on, when he body kicked him that first round and dropped him down, I was like, yep, this is going how I thought it was going to go. How were you feeling? What were your thoughts overall on this fight?
It's exactly what you wanted to see from Leon Edwards. What you wanted to see from Leon Edwards was him using that rear kick to stigmatize that head kick. Usman obviously Usman's going to come out and be deathly aware that he's got to keep his fucking hands up. So kick him to the body, kick him to the leg. Especially you've got a guy whose knees are shot and he's open about his knees being shot. Kick him in the
he was kicking at the knee. He was kicking him directly in the knee, and Jared was calling it out. He goes, he's gone for the knee, and I was like, he fucking is too. He's gone right for that knee, and fair play. I would do the same thing, and he just looked
open about having an injury. You fucking attack that injury.
Yeah, dude, he looked phenomenal. I want to throw a stat at you. I want to throw a stat at you from this fight.
Okay.
And this is coming from the great Luke Thomas. He tweeted this out.
Oh,
and it was about Leon Edwards' takedown defense and Kamaru Usman's control time. So fight 1, Usman landed 6 of 13 takedowns with 10 minutes and 50 seconds of control time. And that was over 3 rounds. That's a 3-round fight, their first one. Their second fight, 5 rounds. He got 5 takedowns out of 12 with 10 minutes 36 of control time. So that's about the same amount of control time, but over 5 rounds compared to 3. So that's an improvement fight to fight. And then, of course, he won that in the 5th round, Leon Edwards. 4th fight, he only gets 4 of 15 takedowns, the most attempts he's ever done in any of their fights with the least success. And only 5 minutes and 3 seconds of control time over 5 rounds. So you talk about the improvement of Leon Edwards' game. Massive. Yeah. Massive. And of course you attribute the KO win in that second fight to it partly as well. But I mean, Leon Edwards' growth as a fighter is can't be understated. And that stat alone shows how good he was, because Usman tried to grapple him as much as you thought he would. But Usman could not keep him down. And he would get him against the fence, and Edwards would have the strategy. He'd turn the body, he'd focus both hands on one hand of Usman's and pull that out and use that to escape. So whatever side he was sort of coming in, he'd go to the hand sort of locking the front of his body. He'd pull that out and he'd use it to sort of circle out into that open space. And he was having huge success with it every single time. One time he did grab the fence. That wasn't good. That whole 3rd round was fucking bizarre. But it just hugely impressed with Leon Edwards. I scored at 48-46, as did 2 of the judges. Even in my reaction, I said right after, I was like, I got 48-46. I could see one of the judges doing a 47-47. That was the exact scorecard that got read. 48-46 by 2 judges, 47-47 by 1. Really only, that was only because of the point deduction that we're talking about this. Yeah. Like, it's 4 rounds to 1 to Leon. I felt like it was a pretty clear, not dominant in the sense of he dominated every round, but
he looked
he
like
won
the better fighter from
he looked
minute
from-
1 to minute 25.
Yeah, I agree. Like, overall, like, Leon Edwards was clearly the better fighter in this fight. And it
100%.
wasn't all that close. On the feet, Leon was piecing him the fuck up, doing the most damaging shots. Usman couldn't keep him down on the ground. Usman had his moments, but they were few and far between in comparison. And anyone saying they thought Usman won, and people arguing about, cage control or something, it's a fight about damage. Usman did 2/5 of fuck all damage that whole fight to Leon, and had really no success with his takedowns, and sure, he was pushing the pace, but Leon was circling back, landing shots whenever he wanted, and he was fighting at a good pace. It was clear as day to me that Leon was the better fighter in this fight.
100%.
The confidence from being a champion, man, you could see it. You could see it.
I really, because I watched through all of Leon's career in the build up to this, and the one thing that happens is that he starts off as this slick counter striker, and as the fight goes on, he starts letting his opponent dictate the pace a little bit, and he fights at whichever pace they want, and that's exactly what happened in the Kamaru Usman fight. Granted, Leon gassed out. But irregardless, he was walking himself onto the fence where Usman wanted him. It wasn't, Usman was hardly cutting the cage and putting him on there. Leon would throw something and then take 5 steps back as Usman came in.
Yeah.
And then sort of shell up as Usman would hit the body and hit him.
He had moments of that in this, though.
He had some rough moments for sure. But
where you just literally go back square up against the cage, knowing a takedown attempt's coming and ready to defend it. But it's like, why are you even there? Every time they went toe to toe on the feet in exchanges, Leon was coming out on top, and I'm like, just keep fucking doing that. He's not good enough to stand with you. He's not.
No.
And the knees were also money, because every time they get into exchange, to end the exchange, like if they got into any clinch, Leon had the clinches every time. He'd grab their head, pull down knee. He landed that multiple times.
Yep, which is, again, another thing I wanted to see from him was, you're a great clinch fighter. Why were you not using the clinch in that second fight?
He was in this.
Yeah, right. You've got a guy that wants to come in on you. A great way to stop that, to stifle that, is to grab him and fucking hit him.
Fucking oath.
And I'll tell you what, if you hit him with enough knees, he'll stop coming in on you.
He fucking will.
And just knees, elbows on the break. Like, it was a classic Leon Edwards performance with everything that you want to see from Leon Edwards, and not much of the stuff that normally gets him into trouble.
Yeah,
really nice to see.
He's definitely got places to improve, especially against the style of Usman, and there's ways he could get better, and I think he can, because I still thought he was a bit gassed at moments. Or just clearly, I felt like his pace, he wanted to slow down the fight a bit to recover. I thought in that 4th round he was slowing down more than Usman was slowing down, but he managed to sort of keep himself not getting too bad, and then it felt like that 5th round Usman was also a bit tired. He was still doing enough to win the rounds, because in the exchanges he was the one that was landing. So even though he was slowing down, he was still the one with the damaging shots, and Usman just wasn't landing. And he wasn't throwing shots to get into the takedowns either, Usman. He wasn't. No. He would just get him against the cage and go for takedowns and not get him. Whereas in that second fight, he was at least throwing strikes to really put that pressure on him and bully him, and then go for those takedowns. But in this fight, he wasn't at all. It just felt like he was going for a lot of naked takedowns, partly because Leon was letting him at times, but as well, it just felt like, I don't know, it was just, Usman, he looked like he's at the, towards the end of his career, and he looked like a guy that just came off a really devastating loss. So, Usman's still one of the great welterweights all time. I put him at number 2, at worst number 3, best welterweights ever. He's a legend of the game. And he's got,
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we all have our time, man. We all have our time, and it's just, Usman's 35, almost 36 in 2 months. That's super old, especially at welterweight. You know, you're not a heavyweight, you're not a light heavyweight. Like, you're at welterweight, you're at the elite of the elite. You're talking about there's a small window, and you're fighting guys that are so elite in terms of athletes. So, you know, he to be as dominant as he was, he's a special fighter. He's greatness personified in mixed martial arts. But it's Leon's time, it's Leon's era. And he's still the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world. So, shout out to the UK. You've still got a champ. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Tell you what, tell you what you wanted to see from Usman is a retirement.
I still think we will. He said he's going to come back in soon. I think he leaves. I think he reflects. I think he spends time with his daughter. I think he goes, what the fuck am I doing this for?
I hope so, man. I really hope so. Because, like, I don't want to see you fight.
Get surgeries on your knees, mate. Fucking fix your life. You've made the money. You're going to have a great career after this. You're going to be an analyst. You can be a coach. You can be whatever you want into his fashion, whatever he wants. He's got a life.
You can tell campfire stories. Dude. Your cool whispery voice.
He does have a great voice for that sort of stuff, eh?
Yeah, it is. I heard someone tweeted a while ago saying every time he speaks, he sounds like he's telling a ghost story.
That's funny.
I've not been able to see it anyway different.
That's true. Yeah, I'd like to think. I don't want to see him get to that old age where he's just going in and losing fights, getting knocked out regularly. Like, mate, once you're 36, you've got bad knees. Go get them fixed. Go live your life. You don't need this. You don't need this. You're not getting Edwards again. That won't happen.
No.
I don't want to see him fight fucking Colby again. Who gives a fuck?
It'll be Shavkat, man. It will be Shavkat.
Well, Shavkat, they want to fight.
They're making him fight
Bilal Muhammad, which is just.
I don't think.
Oh, dude, God, that pissed me off. Can we? Okay, let's get onto this conversation. Dana White comes out after this. Well, first of all, the 24 hours leading up to the fight, Colby weighs in at the weigh-ins as a backup fighter, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And then that also means
both fighters in the title fight. Let's make that clear, because the fact that they don't know who they could be fighting.
But that's the thing. They have to renegotiate. Even if, like, Usman did make weight and they come to Leon while Colby weighed in, Leon can go, no, I didn't know he was the backup. I'm not fucking fighting Colby. You know what I mean? They have to renegotiate. They can't just tell him he's fighting Colby. They have to totally renegotiate and sign a new deal. I'm sure Leon probably still would have done it, but, like, Colby has had 2 title shots and only had to have 1 win in between, and they were to guys that shouldn't give you a title shot anyway, probably. Maybe Jorge, but that's only if there's no one else to it. But you can't. But you've still got to be active. That's you beat Jorge, and then a few months later, you're like, I want that next shot. Let's go. Not I sit out for 12 months, say no to multiple fights with Khamzat Chimaev, with Bilal Muhammad, with multiple contenders, wait it out, say no, and then fucking think you can fight Leon Edwards. It's mental. And first of all, this shtick of his is fucking old. And people that say, oh, it's just a character, that's fine. But if you're talking about this professional wrestling character that he's made up, guess what the best professional... And I'm a guy that loves his... I grew up on professional wrestling. Do you know what the best guys did in professional wrestling? Their characters evolve. He's been the same fucking character for 6 years. It's boring. And it's super fucking weird. Like, it's not, like, funny. It's not interesting. And people that still think it's funny are fucking dorks and losers. They're the actual virgins he makes fun of the whole time. Like, the incels and virgins that he makes fun of are the only fans he has. Like, it's not... I don't not like Colby because I think it's a real character and that's who he is and he's a bad guy. I don't like him because I think he's a pussy. I think he's a fucking pussy who gets on a microphone and talks about how he's going to kill John Anik and how he's going to beat up everyone. Meanwhile, he's the first guy to whinge, cry, and call the cops when he gets fought in the street for his bullshit. And he's the one being like, I run the streets, I do this, but he's going to fucking cry, whinge, sue ya, make the money. He's a fucking pussy. He's the biggest pussy in the UFC. He's human toilet paper, is what I called him on Twitter. He's fucking human toilet paper, and his fans are a bunch of dorks and losers. This guy has done fuck all for this sport. He's done fuck all for the last 12 months, but sit on his ass and try to make some money. Like, honestly, the fact that he's getting title shot makes me sick. He's not Conor. He talks about how he's like, Leon's not Conor McGregor. Bro, you're not Conor McGregor. You're not Conor McGregor. You know? It's fucking mental. The way he talks. He's boring. He's boring, bro. He's boring. He fights boring.
Trying to emulate that Chael Sonnen stuff, but he is not a fifth the talker that Chael Sonnen is.
He does no charisma either.
No,
he has no fucking charisma.
He sort of just like stutters through the same rehearsed lines.
He had one entertaining fight with Usman. And now everyone thinks he's an entertaining fighter.
Yeah.
His fights are boring. They're all boring.
Yeah.
The second Usman fight was not that entertaining, and Usman beat the shit out of him. Like,
yeah.
And their first fight, yeah, amazing, no doubt about it. Fucking incredible fight. I love their first fight. But that's it. I don't know what everyone's talking about, like that Colby's some amazing fighter. Obviously, he's elite and with his wrestling and all that sort of stuff, but it's not entertaining. He's a fucking boring fighter. He's a boring personality. He's been the same shtick for 6 years, and he's still talking about Donald Trump like he's the president.
Yeah.
When he's not.
I would
it's
go so far as to say
irritating.
That first fight, he was a guy who was an interim champion. He was a guy who was this fresh face for the division. And he was a perfect heel for Usman.
And more active.
That second fight?
But don't get me wrong, like there was times where I'm like, okay, I get the character, I see what he's trying to do, and it's sort of working. Yeah. But then you've got to evolve, bro. You've got to change.
How many years has it been?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to evolve. Conor McGregor isn't the same Conor McGregor. We've seen how many different iterations of Conor. Because Conor knows you can't just do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like
2019. It's been 4 years.
If Chael's took his characters from pro wrestling, that's where he got it from. He evolved. Yeah. If Colby's doing the pro wrestling thing, the best pro wrestlers, bro. The Rock wasn't just The Rock the whole time. He evolved. He changed. He was the good guy. He was the bad guy. He was Rocky Maivia. He was in the A Nation of Domination. Then he was The Rock. Like he evolved.
Sure.
You evolve as a character. That's what, if you're just talking about from the entertainment side of it, you need to evolve, you need to change. He's the same shtick for 6 years. It wasn't that good. It was, I'm like, okay, I guess this is it. It's getting people talking, all good, I guess. But now it's like, dude, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the sport. It's embarrassing for the division. And Dana White, the just fucking cuck Republican that he is, just like, well, he's Trump's guy. He's, Colby's my guy. And it's just fucking weird. And for the guy, and Ariel Wani said it on the MMA Hour this week, for a guy that never makes fights on a Saturday, I don't make fights on the night of fight. He's like, doesn't matter what happens. Colby's the next fight. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
There's people asking like, hey, like, this is a really compelling fight. What about this? And he's like, yeah, Colby's the guy. Sorry.
Gilbert Burns
is at
the top of this division.
Very clearly an agreement that's been made.
Is coming off a win, is about to fight Masvidal, and you're telling me you're not even going to entertain the fact that, one, if Masvidal beats Gilbert, that's a top 3 win for Masvidal. They've got history, they've got a story. Masvidal's a bigger name than Colby anyway.
Yeah.
And by a fucking landslide, he's a bigger name than Colby. Then you get that title fight with Leon, makes sense. Gilbert Burns is the more deserving contender of everybody if he beats Masvidal. I think, to me, that's a number 1 contenders fight. Guaranteed. Yes, there's Bilal Muhammad. I think Bilal needs a top 5 win before he gets a title shot.
I agree.
I don't think Bilal's a title shot guy now. He just beat Sean fucking Brady. That's not a top 5. That's a top 10 win. Great. You're on a win streak 100%. You deserve the number 1 contender. Bilal's next fight's a number 1 contender fight. I get it. He's not going to win. They're going to make him fight Shavkat. But, poor Bilal. Get him off my telly now. And then, but then you've got, I guess you could say Khamzat, because he's undefeated and he's just torn everyone apart. Didn't make weight last fight. Risky. I feel like if you don't make
Khamzat's, have you not heard? He's confirmed middleweight now.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I mean, he is. Like Dana has said, he is fighting at middleweight now.
I don't trust anything Dana White says. I don't believe him. Okay,
I believe him.
Sure.
I believe him regarding Khamzat because he spent so long refusing to say anything about it.
Yeah, maybe.
It sounds like they've got a fight in the works for him.
It's gonna be Rob. Terrible match.
I fucking hope it's Rob.
Well, I mean, if you hate Hamzat, you hope it's Rob.
Yeah. Well, if you like Rob.
If you like Rob, you hope it's Rob. Because this is like where Rob goes, I just need to make it clear that I'm pound for pound top 5. Which he is.
Yeah.
Which he is. Pound for pound top 5. No doubt in my fucking mind.
I think so.
And Rob's gonna fuck up Hamzat. I don't think that's a really close fight.
No, I think that's rough for Hamzat.
I think he fucking.
I think Hamzat
kills
has
him.
maybe a nice first round.
I don't think he's striking with him. And good luck taking him down. Good fucking luck with that.
I just think Hamzat opens so fast that he can maybe catch Rob cold a little bit
Rob's
in terms
so
of
fast,
wrestling.
Man. Rob's
in
so
terms
fast.
of but Rob takes time to warm up. You look at that Vettori fight, that first round, he took a little bit of time to get his bearings. You look at that first Adesanya fight, he got dropped and then was sharper throughout.
But in that first Adesanya fight, because Rob was going crazy hard at him.
I meant the second fight. Sorry.
Yeah, second also being hesitant for Izzy. I don't think the Izzy fights are. I think they're two separate.
Okay,
things.
Vettori then. We'll go Vettori.
Okay. I don't know if that was slow as much as they were both reading each other. I think Rob can pace himself whenever he fights. But Rob's going to read who he's fighting. Vettori was never going to come forward, so Rob didn't need to. Rob had the time to read. If Hamzat comes forward hard, yes, I'm saying that's fine, but Rob will adjust to that in that round and piece him up.
Yeah.
He's not getting taken down because he's cold. You know what I mean? Like, Rob's takedown defense is going to be top tier from second one to the last second of that fight.
I do agree.
Can he land maybe the best strikes he can early? Maybe, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's a good matchup for Hamzat at all. I don't think there's any worse matchup in the UFC in a division Hamzat would fight in than Robert Whittaker. I think it's the number one worst matchup for him.
Yeah, I do agree. 100%.
I think Hamzat could beat Izzy. I could. I'm not saying he would. I'm saying he could beat Izzy because I think he has the potential to actually hold Izzy down.
I agree.
Not a shot. I'll eat my words. We've got to make some sort of bet if that fight happens. I'll eat my words. If he could take down Rob and hold him down, really hold him down. I don't either. I don't see it. I don't see it. But to the people, I've got to, at some point I've got to take my licks and eat my words if I'm wrong here because I'm certain that Rob fucks him up. But anyway, that's not the fight at hand. The next fight apparently is Leon Edwards Colby Covington, which I think is fucking ridiculous.
Apparently, to me it sounds like Dana has said, or Hunter Campbell has said, "Look, Colby, we need to back up. If you come and weigh him, we will guarantee you the next shot."
Why do they need what? Why? Why was it Colby?
I don't know. I guess because Burns and Masvidal are fighting next month and making the.
I just don't know why that makes him the number one contender. It's not like Volk, who asked for it and said, "I want to fight next. I'm showing up to be the backup," and also Volk's active. Volk's a champion, and even then, Dana still was like, "Well, I guess it's probably Volk next," but he wasn't coming out the day after or the day of going 100%. 100% is Volk. He had to be convinced. He took the lay of the land. And then made that.
I don't know if it's maybe a marketing thing to get Americans to buy that pay-per-view.
It's so stupid.
Would they buy a Gilbert Burns pay-per-view? I think so. I think they'd buy a Gilbert Burns pay-per-view.
I mean,
but I think Dana gets hung up on the fact that the stars of tomorrow are still stars today. Sorry, the stars of yesterday is what I mean.
Yeah. Well, okay. Colby Leon. Leon's winning that fight anyway, so whatever. Fuck it.
Who's winning that fight, sorry?
Leon's winning that fight anyway.
Yeah,
so
okay, cool. I thought you said Colby then. I was like, really?
No. Leon's winning that fight.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think what does Colby provide other than a gas tank that Usman didn't provide?
Yeah. Nothing.
No, I agree.
They'll like Colby can go southpaw too. Can fight southpaw too, I guess.
Well, Colby is a southpaw.
Yeah, but he's
Usman spent most of that fight southpaw.
It's true. I mean, I don't think Leon's gonna have a problem here. I don't think Leon's gonna have a problem on the feet. Colby was like, "I've never lost to southpaw." I'm like, What southpaws have you fought that are elite at all?
Yeah. Let's have a
Yeah.
look.
And when you look at the Usman fight, well, he beat you twice. He fucked you up.
Yeah.
He finished you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah. Anyway, I disagree with that fight being made, but Leon said he won't accept that fight. I hope he stands by it. I hope he sticks to his guns. We'll see. I think if Dana wants it, he'll get it. That tends to be how it goes.
Sadly.
But is what it is. I guess. I'm done talking about Colby. I'm over him. I was enjoying so much him not being involved in the UFC. The last 2 months have been so nice. He's so fucking boring. And he just comes into the news cycle. I'm like, I don't care. He's not good or entertaining. It's fucking embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for the sport. Anyway, go on.
There's one last thing.
What's up?
I just wanted to say another thing from Luke Thomas. And shout out to Man of Shark for tweeting this out. The record of guys over 35 years old between 135 pounds and 170 pounds in UFC title fights is 2-28.
Yeah.
That's 2 wins, 28 losses. Obviously relevant because Usman has turned 35, sorry.
Yeah.
Tell you who turns 35 in September.
A man by the name of Colby Covington? Oh, not in September.
Alexander Volkanovski.
Ooh. I mean, do you know? Well, I mean, Colby's actually already 35.
He is already 35.
Good. I mean, Alex Volkanovski, I feel like is the exception to any rule.
It makes me nervous, but it also, if you look on based on performances or not based on just like age science, his last one's probably his best performance yet.
Yeah, well, so far he's just getting better and better.
Yeah, 100%. We've not seen any drop off.
I didn't realise Volk and I have almost the same birthday. It's a day apart.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's the 29th.
I share mine with John Mayer, so.
Ah, okay.
You know.
It really overshadows your birthday, doesn't it? Because it's like, who gives a fuck?
No, I would argue the opposite.
It overshadows John Mayer's birthday. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that Volk and I don't share because his was overshadow mine, the Alex the Great, but I can be a prelim to his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you'll ever be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's all I could hope to be, really. If I was in a prelim to a Volk card at a UFC event, I mean, I'd be pretty fucking stoked with myself. So.
Yeah. Good to complain.
Yeah, no, I don't complain. No complaints whatsoever. I mean, it looks like International Fight Week will be Stipe Jones and the co-man Volk and Yair.
Yeah, that's a good fight. It's a shame that fucking Volkanovski doesn't get a main event still.
I mean, it's a big main event, to be fair. So I feel like it's
fucking shit fight to have over Volkanovski.
Nah, I mean, I personally feel like Volk's gonna make it look easy.
I hope so,
so I just
so
feel like
much more invested in that featherweight fight.
I know,
10 times more.
I know, but we just need Volk to get in there, focus on the job at hand, dominate Yair, get the rematch with Islam, win the second belt, retire.
Yep, I'm up for it.
You know, he won't retire. Volk will fight till he's shouldn't be fighting. I just have that feeling, terrible feeling.
I get the feeling Volk will. I think Volk will drop a couple and be like, "It's my time. I'm out."
Yeah. But his
I think we'll see him start to lose.
He's one of the pound for pound greatest of all time. I mean, he's already cemented there.
Yeah,
it's one of the greats. But yes. Just because it's late, we're gonna make it quick. But let's touch on this coming week, the main event.
There's nothing else to talk about.
No,
I mean, there's a couple things that if we have the time.
We can get to it next
week, which is pretty nice.
We can get to it next week. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
We can recap it. But
100%.
The only fight I'm really pumped for, and I've got one of my best mates' Bucks parties this weekend. / it's going for the whole weekend from Friday to Sunday. So I will see the fight, but I will be in not a great state watching the fight.
That's okay. I normally am not, so...
You've got a bantamweight, essentially number one contenders fight. My favourite bantamweight, future champion, Chito. Marlon Chito Vera versus Cory Sandhagen. In a 5-round main event. This is going to be a fucking barn burner. I can't wait for this fight. This has been one I've just been marking on the calendar that I've been pumped to see. Thank God they moved it out of the Apex and into an arena full of fans. That's what this fight deserves. We've got to bet on this fight, my friend, because you're backing Cory Sandhagen. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, with everything I have.
Yeah. Tell me how he gets done. What's your prediction?
I think he's too much for Chito. I think he comes in, out volumes him. He's not like Rob Font in that he's not going to do damage to Chito. Yeah. He's a smart fighter in that he's going to get in there, he's going to hit the body, he's going to get out. He's going to get in there, he's going to kick him, he's going to get out. He's going to overwhelm them, he's going to mix in some wrestling exchanges. I think he's just going to be the smarter fighter. I think Chito is opportunistic. And also, I think we've not really seen Chito beat many great top guys at the moment. He's fought a lot of old people.
I mean,
and whilst he's looked awesome in those fights, although I say that was losing on the scorecard to Dom Cruz. And I'm a Chito fan, man. There's not many people I'd back against Chito.
Well,
but Sandhagen as someone who is clearly like a student of the game, like Sandhagen is clearly someone that understands mixed martial arts. He came out last time, he utilized elbows against someone that wants to pocket box with him. He started like stigmatizing the wrestling exchanges, getting him freaking out. Like, he fought a great fight that last time. Yeah. Against an opponent who's genuinely tough and like isn't a super great matchup for him. So I have confidence in Cory Sandhagen. I think he is that guy.
Yeah. I don't. I think Cory...
You don't like him because you don't like how he looks. That's all it is, really.
That's absolutely not true. That is absolutely
a little
false.
Bit true. It's at least 70% true.
Absolutely not true. I resent that statement.
If Cory Sandhagen was the little Ecuadorian man with a cool beard, you'd be all over him.
Would it go a long way? It would. Let's not pretend it wouldn't. I'm not saying that, but I don't dislike him because of how he looks. Do I like Chito because of how he looks? Yes, partly. But I also like Chito for how he fights. Which is crazy
because he looks different every fight.
And is that it's a joke, Gas. I love Chito. I love Chito the fighter. I love the personality. I love his story. I love where he's come from. And I just think he fights fucking awesomely. And I think he's looked at every fight. He's looked better and better. So I think everyone loses to Dom Cruz on the scorecards until they win. That's how fighting Dominic Cruz works. Like, it's just is what it is. And I think he was setting him up for that combo he landed the whole time. He got it. He got the win. He beat the fuck out of Rob Font. You can maybe touch Chito with some pillow hands, as Cory Sandhagen will, but Chito's going to land big shots, and I think Cory's going to be more aggressive. I think that's going to lend to Chito landing more with his counters, and I think he's a hard puncher, and I think he's going to hurt Sandhagen early, and then Sandhagen's going to be a bit more tentative, be a bit less rushing in, a bit less confident going in. I think Chito's going to finish him. I think he's going to finish him in the second round.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Chito, notorious guy who builds and builds and builds as this fight goes on.
Yeah, well, I think the style will lend itself to Chito landing bigger shots earlier.
Really? I think it's I think it's probably the worst style matchup for Chito.
Well, you're about to see.
Maybe Sterling's worse. Honestly, like maybe someone like Aljamain.
I think Sterling's probably the worst matchup.
Or maybe Chito. Someone like Merab, in the same vein, who could just catch him early and like
potentially, yeah, for sure.
Because it's good to remember that Chito got backpacked by Jose Aldo.
Yeah, he did.
So it makes me nervous against guys who have like strong wrestling.
Well, I'm just focusing on. I just want Aljo to beat Henry, Aljo retire, Sean O'Malley, Chito Vera 2 for the title. That's the dream. Seeing the rematch, Sean O'Malley's only loss was to Chito, and at that time you're sort of like, neither really ranked. Chito, everyone's like, who the fuck's this guy? Turns out he's fucking elite, and they rematch down the road. They both don't lose a fight since then. To Jose Aldo. My bad. That's a terrible person to lose to. Chito goes on a great run, gets a title shot. Sean O'Malley doesn't lose a fight since Chito. They rematch for the belt. That's the story. That's what I want to see. And then Merab can fight whoever fucking wins.
Yeah.
Because I get that Merab probably deserves it more, but you have to book O'Malley Chito if Chito wins. You have 100%. To.
Yeah.
I get Merab deserves it. Dude, sit out all you want. You get the next shot. But just for the people, you have to do Sean O'Malley Chito Vera.
I also think Dana fucking hates Merab.
I mean,
I think if Dana can do stuff,
who doesn't hate Merab? Let's be honest with you, and like not the person, but
I thought what he did to
his style is not
cool.
fan friendly, and I don't know. There's something about Merab that just is like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, and I don't super
like as much as I was hoping Peter Yan cried, I was still
cool.
hoping Peter Yan would win when they fought. I was still hoping Peter Yan won. But
yeah,
I just find Merab a bit weird. Like he's just a weird guy. Came in to fight Peter Yan. He's like, this is for Ukraine. This is against Russia. I'm like, it's Peter Yan. Like you're fighting Peter Yan. You're not fighting Russia.
It's also
that's not how it
Peter
works.
Yan who's openly anti-war.
Yeah, it was
he's not like one of the sort of like Chechen puppet guys.
No. As far as I'm aware, I haven't seen him like fake sparring with a Russian warlord or anything. So.
No.
Yeah.
No, he seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. Which we have with Usman, so good.
We have riddance. With Usman.
Good fucking riddance. We have with Gaethje too, so I'm a bit of a shame.
That's it. Gaethje gets a pass.
No, he doesn't. And Dustin Poirier will put him to sleep for it. That's what will happen.
I feel like he already got punished by Oliveira. It's okay.
Not enough.
You don't hang
out with Russian warlords that murder people.
Tyler, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay, fine.
He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
He's not sure.
I guess so. Fucking hell. Yeah. Well, all right. The bet's on. You've got Cory. I got Chito. We'll be back next week.
It's going to be a fun
to discuss it all.
To just.
I feel like we've got to make some
one
sort
of
of
us is
stakes
lay
for this
into the
bet.
other.
I feel like we've got to make stakes for this bet.
I do, but I also feel like the next podcast is just going to be brutal for whoever loses.
Yeah, unless it's like a controversial split decision.
Yeah.
Of which we'll both just argue to the death that our guy won.
Well, yeah, we'll both just be mad.
Okay. I look forward to next week when one of us is going to be taking some serious licks and the other one's going to be like pumping themselves up pretty hard.
Yeah, big exciting.
And either way, guys, I look forward to it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Switching Stances. Be sure to rate us on all podcast services, give us 5-star reviews, all that great stuff. Like, subscribe on YouTube. We're past the 100 subscriber mark. That's fantastic. Love the support. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. We're building the brand, and it's just been a great few months since launching. Loved every second of it, and then you'll follow the journey as we cover this sport, do reactions to fights, and my journey to my first fight in June.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week for another episode of Switching Stances. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.